Who are some potential trade targets the Mets could be in on?
Well, I think that Devin Williams is getting traded somewhere. The Brewers declined his option, so he will be back in arbitration. This is his last year under team control. They tend to trade guys when they get there. And the David Stearns connection makes it, at least, opens that line of communication. I know they have Edwin Diaz, they have a closer, but you can always use an extra closer, and they lost so many guys out of their bullpen. Brooks Raley, Adam Ottavino, more that I'm sure Tony could tell us about that I'm forgetting right now. They need to rebuild that bullpen, and Devin Williams is definitely on the market.
It'd be pretty wild, by the way, for the guy who gave up arguably one of the biggest home runs in Met history over the last 40 years to be the closer or the setup man for the team next year, Tony. That'd be a fun storyline.
It certainly would, but I think if the Mets go the trade route, and I think there's more likely to than not, at some point this offseason, add a starting pitcher via trade, including but not limited to Garrett Crochet. Crochet is obviously the big fish out there. A lot of teams are going to be in on him, and I do think the Mets are kind of in an interesting spot in terms of being able to deliver some young position player talent to the White Sox if they do go that route. But I thought David Stearns' comments earlier this offseason and also just the other day were interesting. He was asked about trades, and he basically said, I love trading. This is something that I really enjoy doing. But what I thought was interesting, he said, it gives me access to players that I wouldn't otherwise have access to. And what he meant by that is you don't find a 25-year-old potential ace like Garrett Crochet in free agency. It just doesn't exist. But you can trade for one. David Stearns did that for Freddie Peralta when he was 19 years old for the Brewers. And, as we were talking earlier about Stearns not loving long-term deals for starting pitching, trading is a way to get that sort of talent in a new and different way.
Terry, Crochet, Devin Williams, your thoughts?
Well, I always like the starters. You can't, you're not going to win without starting pitching. So, Crochet is a guy that I really like. And by the way, when you're going to get a guy like that, you better give up some minor league talent. And, as a minor league farm director for many years, part of your job is to build big league players. And then you may have to use those guys to get somebody